While the new health care plan will help provide coverage for millions of those uninsured, it will also create a burden for some business owners. Good evening. I'm Mark Allen.
And I'm Patrice Dayton. The health care bill was signed into law in March. It made changes such as preventing companies from canceling coverage when someone gets sick to banning coverage for children because of pre-existing conditions.
But a small section of that health care reform bill has nothing to do with hospitals, doctors, or drugs. As News 10's Jane Santucci explains, what's in that section could affect business owners right here in the Valley.
The health care reform could cost nearly $1 trillion over a 10-year period. To help pay for it, the government hopes to collect more than $2 billion in unreported income. But how they're doing it could keep small business owners very busy with paperwork.
George Azar tends to his late afternoon crowd at the Saratoga in Terre Haute. Whether it's olives or liquor, George has a list of vendors he buys his supplies from. Come tax time, he must tell the IRS everyone he does business with.
Normally you can just lump it as supplies that you purchase, and you don't have to individually decide that it's Cisco or U.S. Foods or whoever.
But there is another form George may soon have to start filling out.
Currently, the 1099 is for workers like independent contractors and freelancers to report their income.
Starting in 2012, George will have to send the IRS a 1099 for every person and company that he did more than $600 worth of business with. So George may have one supplier for liquor, there's a 1099, another supplier for napkins, another 1099.
It's going to mean some extra book work on our part.
While George already counts his products, this new law is to keep track of those who don't and hopefully be able to cover some of the costs to provide health care to the entire country.
Azar says he works with about 10 vendors each year, and while that may not seem like a lot more work, it's more than what he's doing now. Back to you.
This new law will mean more than just extra paperwork for those business owners. It will also cost them more. Andy Stadler with Stadler Tax Service says on average businesses are currently filling out about 10 1099 forms a year. He says under the new bill it's expected that number will jump to more than 250 forms each year per company. Stadler says that could create a time and financial burden on small business owners.
They go from 10 1099s to over 250. Now they got to track this. They're looking at several hours, probably 50 or 60 hours of preparation time just to get ready to print all this. So the cost is significant to a small business owner.
Stadler says this includes small at-home businesses all the way up to large corporations.